get to the bag, ayy. Got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane moving fast, ayy, ayy. Let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss, ayy.
Hey guys, before we jump into the episode, I wanted to let you know it is brought to you by Denim. As a business owner myself, I personally know the importance of financial stability and preserving cash flow to help navigate through any freight market. With Denim's comprehensive service offering, you now have an all-in-one financial partner whose platform includes factoring, payments, freight audit, document collection management, and analytics, which help keep your business financially healthy and increase your team's time to focus on revenue-producing activities. You can also take advantage of Denim's free credit check, which they perform on all of your customers. And Denim will proactively reach out to you if they spot any signs of credit deterioration. Finally, Denim always pays your carriers first. As a broker, this is imperative to preserving your credit score in the market, which ultimately helps you become a broker of choice to your carrier partners. Are you ready to learn more? Visit denim.com to schedule a demo today. Just do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agents' success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Friday, everybody. I got a very special guest here today. We're going to be talking about the hottest topic that's out there in freight right now, and that's fraud. And it's like, how do you fortify your carrier network to ensure you minimize that risk and exposure that's out there? And, you know, my guest today, he's kind of like Prince, but in product. And because he used to be the artist formerly known as Prince, but now I got Product Sean, formerly with Denim, but now of Denim by Truck Stop. So Sean, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
I'm looking for a longer name, so I'm open to suggestions as well. I'd like to cover the whole bottom of the camera of the video window.
You should do that. I don't know how, like, I'll think about that, man. We could use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a phenomenal tool to help you come up with the longest Product Sean name possible. I think you could do it and pull it off.
I need another few words, and that'll be ripping for sure.
Dude, absolutely, man. So how's everything going on your end, man? It's been a busy couple of months for you guys over there, and, you know, going on to over to Truck Stop with everything. So how's that been?
Yeah, it's been a ride for sure. I think I said this to you all when we were on with Sean Dehan a month or two back. Like, the Truck Stop folks have been great, still great for the record, you know, still great here in the middle of October. I mean, we're pumped to be here. The distribution of Truck Stop is unreal. So our team is like overclocking, right, to be able to get through all of the volume and the work. And we've got a ton of interest, which has been really fun, and creating some new problems for us, some new challenges, scaling problems, stuff like that, which is all good stuff when you're growing the business. So we're having a blast, and we're serving a new client segment for us.
Yeah.
Owner operators has not been something we've traditionally spent a lot of time in at Denim, and like Truck Stop has a huge owner operator book. So we're we're calling our customers every day, talking to a few a day, saying hi, seeing how things are going, asking what we can do to help, stuff like that. So we'll get up to speed super fast, and we're already moving fast.
No, and I mean, I think it's a good segue into our topic today, right? And talking about fraud and building out your carrier network. And, obviously I'm going to come from the standpoint that I have, at least for the majority of my career, been the most successful. And that's when you're building up a carrier base built on drivers that run specific lanes and regions. And until to this day, I feel like is the only real tried and true method to minimize your risk of exposure of fraud and the double brokering and everything else that's out there. And again, you guys take everything from what I say with a grain of salt, but I actually move freight. All right. I have trucks moving today. We're picking up, we're delivering, we're doing all of this. And I'm going to go through some of our steps that we follow to keep that closed capacity loop rolling.
And I think that's the key. Closed capacity. Like you want, like the best way to prevent fraud or prevent an issue with your load or your freight is like people hauling freight, people that you talk to in real life, people that you might have met in real life, people that you have references from in real life, and you just stop it from ever happening in the first place, right? Like there are a bunch of things that we do at Denim and now we do at Truck Stop to help keep you out in front of this sort of stuff and get your hands into trusted carriers, right? And trusted partners. But like, if you're just sort of throwing a line out there, you're going to be much more susceptible to be able to getting yourself into a sticky situation than you would if you go with somebody or somebody that's been recommended to you.
Yeah, and and I look at it, Sean, from my perspective, because like I'm not overstating this when I mentioned this. It like 85% of our freight is pre-booked with the same handful of carriers, right? Like we've identified them. They get first crack at everything. They get first right of refusal at everything. And when you're talking out there, and at least like when I'm seeing stuff out there on social media, and I'm sure when you guys are talking to drivers out there, one of those things that's coming up is how do we get more business, right? Like how do we stay busy and everything else? And, I look at it as from a broker's seat. Not every carrier out there is looking to hose you, right? Like not every carrier out there is looking to do you wrong. Not every carrier out. And I feel like with where we're at in the industry right now, Sean, it's like we've put up even more barriers between the broker and the carrier relationship because, yeah, fraud's a very real thing, right? Freight theft is a very real thing. Double brokering, all of that stuff is going on out there. That's very real. But like, I think as a broker, you really got to like put your guard down a little bit in the sense of like, not everybody out there is a scammer. Like there is a lot of top-notch trucking companies that are out there, and it is on you as a broker to find them, but then keep working with them, right? And again, I'm self-employed, okay? So like I only eat what I kill. I understand the go out there and find a cheaper truck and, make more margin on it. I get it, but I'm like, I also don't understand it anymore at this rate when it's like I find, my guy Jose out of Las Vegas who's done 20 loads for us in the last 2 months. And he's our number one guy that we go to going up into a specific region. And our friends with NVA they're out of Illinois, right? Like they're our number one carrier out of Colorado. They have flatbed Conestogas out there all the time, and it matches up with our shipper. They get our first right of refusal that's out there, and we want to work with them, right? Like we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cargo that we're loading out there. I don't want to roll the dice to try and save $50. It's not worth it, in my opinion, especially in today's market when it is as long of a sales cycle as I've ever seen to find new shippers.
Here's the thing too, like, and we're getting to know this now with the Truck Stop business and being able to help them re-platform. You can manage this risk. Anybody can manage any of this risk, right? Anybody can do it. You pick up the phone, you call people, you send emails, you say no to carriers, and you just like keep doing manual, hard, long work, potentially risk a service issue. You can't find the right truck. Like you can do it. You can take no risk. Mm-hmm. But you're never going to fill all the freight that you have to fill. And you're never going to be able to get off the phone to start selling because you're going to stop vetting carriers, right? So like there has to be a way for you to pair this risk with the right kind of pre-vetted, already automated, short list workflows that get your freight filled so that you have the carriers that you really like and that you really want to work with, and you're not having them fill out a new packet and fill out my vetting information. Like, I've already done 20 loads for you this month. Like, what are we still doing here? Right.
Yeah.
So there's ways for you to be careful and still be able to work at the speed that you want to work at, and be able to have the velocity that you want to have out of the brokerage. So like, there's a trade-off here, right? With all this stuff, there's the manual work that comes along with intense vetting and data collection and validation of carriers, and the realities of, we only have so many hours in a day, and only so many people are going to pick up the phone during those hours.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing, right? Like, if you're looking at it, I mean, obviously you see the word trust and relationship thrown out there nonstop, right? And it's like, a lot of people view trust in relationships only from the lens of, do they individually benefit from it, right? And that's, again, the older you get, ladies and gentlemen, the more and more people you kind of come in contact with that, right? That it's just like the people out there who are screaming freedom of speech, as long as it aligns with what they want to do and say in that moment and stuff like that. But trust, same thing, right? Like, as a broker, you need to look at it like this: what can you do to become more trustworthy out there to the carriers? You really do, because I know we're in an environment right now where there is a plethora of available trucks to cover your freight. But again, like, why are you constantly going out there and sourcing new capacity for the exact same freight that you're moving out there, when you find a company that can do it at a high level, they communicate at a high level, they take photos, they do whatever it is that you're looking for them to do? Why don't you trust them to continue to do it, right? And then, like, again, things happen. Like when you're working with your core carriers, we just had this happen this week. One of our guys broke down. He literally let us know at 11 o'clock at night, the night before the load was supposed to pick up. Here's where I am. This is the mile marker. I'm going to try and run some tests on it. I'll let you know when I'm up and running. He called us right away the following morning, let us know. He's like, hey, I hate to do this. Please recover the load. Like, I'm not going to be fixed in time to make it. From our perspective, no harm, no foul, man. Like, you let us know you're still our guy. You're still going to get first right of refusal. I trust that guy because, like, he's never once missed a beat. And I look at it as that it was one of those sticking points early on in my career, Sean, where most people, and when I say most people, I put myself at the front of the list. That was the moment where I'm like, oh, screw those guys. I'm going to go find somebody else. I'm like, we're done.
Yeah, there you go. See ya. Here's what I would say. Like, there's the relationship element is enormous. There's grace that you've got to give people in real life. The thing that I think everybody forgets is that behind the phone, behind the email, there's like a person there, right? And there's a person that's doing work. And it's a lot easier to talk shit about people on Slack or to send a nasty email or whatever. We just got an email today from a shipper that we sent an invoice to, and the shipper misread the date on the invoice, and they thought that the year was different. And the shipper replied back to our invoice, WTF, invoice that's 7 years old, suck it. And that was like the response. And we were like, what? This is from 30 days ago. Like, what are you talking about? And they were like, oh, my bad, I didn't read it. It's like, what are we doing? Like, what world are we living in? And that was like a real interaction from like a real person. And we're like, oh my God. So like, we've got a lot of human beings out there that are trying to do great work. And those are people that you want to keep working with. So keep them close, give them that first right of refusal, in the same way that trucker, that carrier called you when they had a breakdown and they had a problem. You operate at that same speed with them. You got a new load in, shoot it right out. Do not stop and pass go, collect $200, right? The whole thing, so that they're getting the same level of communication that that you are providing to them, that they're giving to you, which is like how this relationship thing is supposed to work.
No, absolutely, man. And, so like, what's one of those things that you guys do now that it's through RMIS, right? Like, you guys have some new onboarding filters and everything to kind of like stop a lot of that, because again, humans miss things at times. And, when you're operating out there, you're booking a couple of loads, you got multiple things going on, you might miss something in that heat of the moment, or it's a hard to cover shipment. Maybe not in this market, but like there's those times where it's a hard to cover shipment. And again, those additional security filters are going to come into place to protect your organization. What are some of those?
Here are a couple of things that I would say. And this was talking a little bit back to what we were saying before about making it easy to continue to work with the same people over and over again. So at RMIS, they've got a ton of really cool business rules. They're talking about screening and dot checks and insurance requirements and IP address validation. And so when a carrier onboards to RMIS, there's a lot of work that gets done to make sure that you're talking to the right person. And those are the people that you can trust and that you can put your loads in front of. So like, that's the first one. It's like, if you're a carrier, do your best, be earnest. Don't give this to your dispatcher, do it yourself, right? And like, be legit as you go through this onboarding process. And same for all the other onboarding tools too, right? Like same for MCP, same for everybody else. And so if you're earnest and fast and direct about how you do your onboarding, it's just going to make you a lot easier to work with. And it's going to give your counterparty, right, your broker, a good feeling about who I'm working with and that they're here to play. So that would be the first thing I would say. The second thing, and TruckShop does some stuff with private loads on this, where you can send your loads first to people in your network that you trust and you believe in and you want to work with. And that's like the ultimate sort of walled garden if I'm a freight broker, right? So I'm working with people that I know and like, and those people that I work with, and those get my first right of refusal on all of my freight. And there's Parade does cool stuff like this too. Like there's some really cool tools out there to help you funnel more freight to your carriers that you work with. That doesn't mean more time. It doesn't mean sending a text message blast out first and then waiting and then posting on the little board later or asking somebody if it's okay. Take all that manual work out of your plate and just like make it easier to work with people that you want to work with.
Yeah. So how does automation, how is that like enhancing a fraud prevention strategy? Like where do you see that kind of evolving to out there? I know that, at least from my perspective, again, it's that, humans make mistakes, right? Like they might be able to look over some stuff like that. So where do you think automation is going to come in to, increase or like reduce the risk of fraud?
The big things is like once you're sort of in the circle, being able to keep someone in the circle and stay in the circle and keep their profile fresh to you, right? So like sometimes folks get hacked. Sometimes there are DOT numbers that get sold, right? Never happens, Jolly, but like sometimes it does. So like there's a lot of this sort of stuff. It keeps your network fresh and available to you. And so when it comes to automation, you should be able to trust the data that you have, trust the work that you've done, and let the tools work for you. So like it should be a lot easier for you to work with a carrier that you've worked with before, and a lot easier for you to tender them freight if they're part of your regular crew and they want to feel like it. So like keep the loads coming, keep giving them that first right of refusal, and keep letting them know that you're important to them. And so that's how your automation pairs with the relationships that you have in real life.
So how are some of those conversations going along with some of the owner ops and stuff you guys are talking to right now? What are some of those main areas of concerns from those guys out there about like the future of where things are going?
These are a couple of good ones kind of stick out so far after the first few weeks. For one, transparency has been super helpful for them. I think a lot of folks who have factoring companies know this. You sort of shoot the email in, and then sometimes you get the response, sometimes you don't. Might take a day, might take two. You go into the Denim platform, you can see sort of the steps of where the load's at in its journey to get money sent to you, right? And you can see it yourself. You have that ability to do that all the time. So like the transparency aspect is super important. One thing that has been nice so far to see is that the carriers that we speak with are like, oh, this is really cool. Can you email my sister? Can you email my wife? My dispatcher is going to look at this, my so-and-so. And so it's much more of a team effort out there with these owner operators, maybe than I would have expected. I was kind of thinking of the lone warrior that's out there trying to make a buck, and it takes a village. And so we have the tools to give people the right level of access that they need and provide them with the right capability and control. Something that is nice, and it kind of feathers into our conversation today, is we could have done a better job of giving our first batch of folks a heads up on like, hey, we're going to move you over to the Denim platform on Wednesday. Wednesday is the day. Like we could have told them a couple weeks before. We could have told them last week. We're trying to move as fast as we can. A few of our comms got slipped. And so some folks were seeing some of these emails from us, like, the day before and the night up. And they're like, I don't know this company. I'm not really sure. So they had their sort of fraud flags up that they were not willing to move on an ask of ours, which is basically like, create a password to get started in Denim. We're now your new factoring company, right?
Yeah.
They were guarded, which I think is good.
Yeah.
Probably also a signal that like this is a lot of the correspondence that they receive is people trying to take advantage, right? And people trying to do things that are not right by them. So I feel really good about the learnings we had for this first batch of folks and the relationships that we're starting to build. The signals are really good that they're getting value out of the platform, and they're getting value out of a factor that might be a little different than like your every other sort of factoring company. And I think we got a lot of work to do to make Denim work for them in the same way that we've made it work for the freight brokers out there that we've been servicing for years.
No, absolutely. I look at it is, you know, when you're a broker, you know, making sure your carriers have easy access to getting their money, right? Like as a business owner, trust me, I want to know that I'm getting paid for the work that I'm doing. And it's like, it's nerve-wracking when you're getting close to the end of the month and your cash flow is starting to dwindle and everything else. And, you know, maybe the market's not as busy. So like you really need that invoice to get paid to make your truck payment or whatever else that looks like out there right now. And I think like you see a lot more of that now, more like that than in, you know, years past is it's like giving the drivers an easy access to their financials, right? Like giving them that ability to go and log in and be like, hey, where's this payment? Where's this at? Where's this at? When am I going to get paid? Checking up in that follow-up. And then again, I think it kind of factors into like the private load board that's going on out there. Again, is it's like you want that closed loop. You know, again, it's like you got that where they know that, hey, I'm going to get access to freight that other drivers aren't going to get access to, right? Like there's that open competition that comes along with it. And then they can kind of watch along that life cycle of the load where it comes to, you know, again, if I'm out there and I'm using that private load board, I'm throwing those opportunities out there to my trusted carriers first. They're able to accept it, tender the load. It's going to go through. And then after they complete the load, the paperwork's updated. They're going to be able to keep an eye on that, you know? So again, like it's just that peace of mind factor of it. And then I like it again, it's back to the closed capacity loop out there. They know that there's going to be more revenue coming their way from those trusted brokers or broker, whoever that they're working with. And then they can kind of follow that along. I feel it makes you more efficient as a small operator, right? And that's where I look at it, Sean, as is like where the industry is trending with the right technology and automation. You're going to start to see companies of smaller headcounts packing a lot larger punch out there in the market because, you know, like as a broker, I look at it here with the private load board alone. If I'm able to automate that process of it where, you know, say we got 20 loads, 25 loads in a day, and then I know they're all being sent out to my private carriers. They're all going to go through and filter through what they want. That means that I can book 25 loads as one person, and then location updates, everything. You got them on tracking. Everything else comes through. You're able to focus on the execution aspect of it. And then again, they know once they send in invoicing, if they're getting factored and everything through you guys, they're not going to be calling me every day. Where's my money? They're going to have that online portal. Well, they're going to be able to do that. Or I'm sure there might be some form of notification process that comes along internally with you guys, like, hey, invoice received, or, you know, all of that. And then like payment process, payment sent out for, you know, for payment and all of that stuff.
1,000%. And like, you remember when freight brokerage was a cottage industry of a very small group of people that happened to have a network that could help people if they were in a pickle on trying to move some freight. That used to be what freight brokerages were. And it sort of has blossomed into what is a much larger space where much bigger players are playing in much larger pools. And it's sort of coming full circle back around again, where the relationships actually matter. Your network is where your value is, and your ability to provide great service and a view into that network is extremely valuable, right? For a shipper that's looking to move freight that might not have a dedicated carrier relationship or a private fleet themselves or whatever. And so you're all of a sudden using the value that you can provide, right? Pristine network, great communication, great client service, and you can execute on that. And that's how the world used to go around. It's how it's going around again.
Yeah. It's the most successful steps that we've implemented inside of our brokerage, which has helped us grow year over year over year, is by, you know, like, yes, having customers that pay is a portion of it, right? But like having those trusted carriers that go in, pick up on time, deliver on time, communicate, treat our customers like they're customers, all of that, I think that it's going to be more and more important here in the coming years, because I truly feel like in my heart of hearts, unfortunately, it's going to get a lot worse out there before it gets better in terms of identity theft, fraud, everything else, because like desperate times call for desperate measures, right? And, you know, the economy is not as great as people are trying to make it seem. Credit card debt's at an all-time high. Like desperate times, you know, it's going to cause this to continue, right? So it's like having those security measures in place are going to be so crucial. And it's like, as a broker, you got to go out there and look, like, you work hard enough to get shippers, right? Like, if you're fortunate, you've been working with the same ones for a long time, you might get a little bit of leeway if some things go sideways. But for a lot of us out there, the relationships are still pretty fresh, and you cannot roll the dice with anything, right? And that's why when I'm sitting here, I'm not sitting here from a guy who doesn't broker freight anymore, you guys. I'm sitting here from a guy that actively books freight every single day, who is actively cold calling shippers every single day. I'm trying to build everything I talk about on this show, you guys, I apply to my business, and I am hedging on it working because, you know, your boy doesn't have a 401k because I got everything on the line to make this work. And a lot of this information that I'm talking about here, you guys, is coming from the most successful steps that I have seen to build a book of business that grows, that is sustainable. And then again, you got to look at it from the carrier side as well. I'm still waiting for that freight broker to come to me with a business plan where they can be a freight broker and not need trucks to make money, because like that doesn't exist. And I'm telling you, it's not worth the additional one-off revenue that you might make on a load to go out there to a network of untrusted providers that you don't know. Not saying that they're all bad, because they're not all bad, but like when you have somebody, when you have that partner who does who it's like a very fruitful relationship out there, you shouldn't be going anywhere else. You should be utilizing the private load board that Truck Stop has. If you're looking to automate that in any way, use those carriers that are already set up. That is the only way that you're actually going to fight fraud. All right. I will be the guy to say it out there, you guys. Fraud will never be beat by a piece of technology. It will come from sound operations that you are out there vetting. And when you have vetted them, when you've applied that, you continue to reutilize them, because long-term sustainability, they're the ones who are going to be here through multiple market turns. The ones who are operating the right way, more often than not, are going to be here, right? These guys out there, fraud is going to change faces over the years, you guys. It's going to look different and everything else out there. So again, the technology is going to continue to evolve, but the tried and true principles of what makes it is a freight broker successful out there are not going to change. That will be the same as long as this industry operates in the manner that it is in today's terms of cold call shipper, get truckload, go out there, find truck to go in and pick up the load for your customer.
Here's something else I would say too. I think I saw you might have seen this online the other day. Somebody was using one of the voice AI bots to call brokers and tell them that this carrier no longer wants this load anymore.
Yeah.
To get them to recover it. And those like phone calls used to be a way, like, if I could just talk to them, those bots are getting pretty good, right? They're getting pretty good, right? And so every time that we feel like we've got a surefire way, it's like, nah, it's okay. I talk to every carrier, so that way I know for sure that they are legit. Might not be true, right? So like, it's a moving target out there. And as you get into the market and as you get to know people, continue to reference those relationships as you go. Continue to get a feel for how these people are. Like I can't remember, it was one of the brokers I was connecting with, and he said, you know, I make this one call on Monday to the same lady, the same fleet, and we talk about our kids, and she covers 9 loads for me for that week. And it's great. And I can make one phone call, right? And I can chase one-off loads as often as I want to try and build new relationships. But I know for sure that she's got those 9 loads for me covered every single week on these dedicated lanes that I have.
But Sean, that is overlooked by so many people out there. It really is. And again, a lot of the issues that you face as a broker are self-inflicted. All right. It's that desire to make more money, to roll the dice, to go do that, right? Because everybody's got a boss essentially out there in the market. Oh, we've been booking it for $1,500. Go find somebody for $1,400. You know, because that's just the way that it was for the longest time. But people are trying to apply mid-2000s rules to a brand new operating market out there, and you just can't do it, right? And again, I like to sleep at night. I truly do. Like when I go home and I'm with my family, I like to know that the freight that we are moving is on the right trucks, not that anxiety riddled, I don't know if we should have booked that guy, but let's roll the dice. Let's see if it actually works out the way that they say it's going to work out. It's just not worth it. And I think like business is so fragile, no matter what, even with long-term existing clients, business is fragile. Relationships are fragile. And I want to be able to look back here and say that I did everything in my power to ensure that my customer's freight is taken care of at a high level.
1,000%. I would say a couple guys in the chat talking about kind of rate coverage. What's good for you, Jolly? What's a good rate of loads that are covered by a regular carrier versus those that are covered by a net new carrier?
I think 85-15. I think 85% of your freight needs to be booked with the same carriers out there. 15% is going to be with newer drivers. But again, like we have it set up like this, and we might go over a little bit on time here. Are you good? Because I want to explain this. Yeah. So like we have our primary, our secondary, our tertiary, and then our oh shit carriers. And I'm going to break it down for you. Our primaries, they're our tried and true, always have capacity. They're showing up on time, delivering on time. They're doing everything we want. We have our secondary carriers that are out there. They are just as good as our primaries, but they're not as readily available for us. They're only available, say, Mondays and Thursdays and stuff like that. Our tertiaries are our third level guys. And I only know tertiary because my business partner is a lot smarter than me. He told me.
I was going to say that
sounds
like a new one to me. That does not sound like it came out of the Jolly regular word list. Yeah,
it's not. I couldn't even tell you what the definition is in Webster's dictionary, but it sounds cool. And I know I'm using it in the right context. But that level of guys is like, they're going to be more expensive than our primary and our secondary carriers, and they're not as readily available, right? Again, you got to think about the waterfall effect of tendering that comes down. And when I say, oh shit, that's not a bad thing. Our oh shit carriers, they are the most expensive. They are always available and they will go anywhere for the right price. Those guys are really great to have in your back pocket.
Great business model too for them, right? Like they don't get every call, but when they do.
Dude, I know a guy. I'm not going to say who he is and where he's at because, but he's one of the best drivers I've ever dealt with. He will never take a load for less than $5 a mile, though. That's his entire business model. He'll go anywhere in the country because he knows exactly how to play the game of like, how desperate are you? If you want me to do this, I'll do this, but here's my price. You need people like that. You truly do, because like you're going to be in that position one day where it unfortunately might come from you or it might come from your customer. Somebody else dropped the ball. It's a last minute load. It's super hot. That might be your only truck. And that's going to be your way to go in there to service that customer in that moment. And you really need to have that, because I feel like it's a lot easier to sit out here and say this, right? Because, I understand that margin percentages are down. I understand margins are thin out there across the board for brokers and stuff like that. But again, you got to stop the transactional mindset. And I think like that is a big killer for a lot of operations out there is, how much money can I make today? You need to look at a rolling 12 months because there's going to be high times and low times. You're going to be making money some months. You're going to be not making money some months. But again, is your customer coming back to you because you are servicing them at a level that nobody else is?
Hey, also shout out to that $5 mile carrier for two reasons. One, that's strategy. He has a business strategy and he is applying it in the purest of forms, right? Number two, $5 a mile carrier gets you a $5 a mile service. He better be great and he better be around. And if he is, he's living up to his brand promise. I love that for him.
Yeah, dude, it works, right? He's been doing like, I've been working with this guy for like 10 years. Like straight up. I've been working with him for 10 years.
And he's got a niche and he's playing in it. We talk about niches all the time. His niche is I'm the oh shit guy.
Dude, exactly. And he moves high value cargo. I think he's got like a $500,000 in cargo insurance. Like he's the guy. If you need him, he will move. And again, and I know some of these specialized guys out there as well. And I'm not comparing legal freight to OD freight, but I know some of these specialized guys out there, they'll only do 1 or 2 turns a month because that's all they have to do, right? That's like, if you want my truck, if you want me to roll with my specialized piece of equipment, this is what it's going to cost you. And they find the freight out there because there is enough business who, again, I'm not trying to say that they don't care about the price, but like they understand they're moving $1 million piece of equipment. They are not going to put it on the low cost, anything out there.
Yeah, totally.
That one truck operator. Yeah. They need those one truck operators out there who have, 12 axle RGNs, 10 axle RGNs who can do 14 wide, 16 tall. They can do all of that, and they just will not mess around.
Not going to run those in the middle of the night off the main highways. Yeah, no, I don't.
I don't know about it. I'm not saying anything other than like those are the guys that they can only do a couple turns in a month. But
good to see you.
Hey, dude, good to see you too, Product Sean. We're gonna come up with a new nickname for you as you continue to come on the show, man. But we'll get something. It's got to go across the entire bottom. But hey, dude, how does anybody reach out to you to find out more?
Hey, come to denim.com, come to truckstop.com, find me on LinkedIn, find Emily. Like we're out there. Come and find us.
Absolutely. You guys, if you can't find Sean for some reason, hit me up. I will gladly put you guys in contact with him. But that is going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. And if you're feeling ambitious, rank that show on iTunes and Spotify, because if you saw value, your network's going to see it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.
Came back with a bang, window down, yelling out money, anything. Hey, ooh, got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when I'm get to the back. Hey, got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the